Narrate the story of your life. Narrate, tell the different chapters that have happened, that you have pushed through, that you have written up to now, and write your vision of what the next chapters are going to be. You know, it doesn't have to cover the entire of your existence, including projected existence in the future, but at least into the next 5 years or 10 years. The outline doesn't have to be extremely specific, but to narrativize your existence is really useful as an INFJ. Now, it's interesting because I don't have a very high opinion of Jordan Peterson at all these days, but I thought it was interesting that he would, I don't know if he still does that, but put so much emphasis on narrating, writing a story of one's life as a therapeutic practice. And I always thought that's probably because Jordan Peterson is an NFJ and it makes sense to NFJs. You see, to tell the story as you see it of your life and your projected goals and what you're heading toward is also a way for you as an INFJ to articulate meaning where it may not look like there is meaning outside of the narrative. Maybe outside of the narrative, there just seems to be a collection of facts, brute facts, raw facts, maybe meaningless enough facts taken by themselves, objects, things, and facts in the external world. And it's only in the articulation by yourself of how things hang together in your life, past, present, and future, that the meaning will emerge. Because INFJs are meaning-making beings, INFJs are meaning-obsessed beings, INFJs are really, really fascinated, concerned, and obsessed by meaningfulness. Things have to be meaningful to them. Otherwise, it's very difficult for them to be interested in doing anything, to have the energy or the motivation for anything. So the idea that you often see manifested in P-types, for example, that doing nothing in particular, chilling, just being idle, can be really, really enjoyable, is something that INFJs, when they hear that, might covet. It might be something that they envy a little bit, but it's really something that they don't manage. Even when they engage in something that seems on the surface to not be about much at all, they usually only give themselves the permission to engage in that if they have, prior to the act, articulated in their minds a kind of narrative as to why that particular inactivity, moment of inactivity, makes sense and therefore is meaningful. So INFJs create meanings, including their own life meanings. If they don't do that, if you don't do that by sort of narrating the story of your life so that you can have it in front of you, front of mind, being able to bring it forth as an image, sometimes in moments when you're doubting, sometimes in moments where you feel like your life is flat and is losing its potency and its sense, to being able to conjure up that image, it's a very powerful tool. But you first need to put it to paper. You need to articulate it into this holistic synthesis. That's how your NI works. If you don't do that, your NI will be naturally drawn to external holisms that are already in existence, and it will be attracted to the most vibrant, the most bright ones, to the ones that are the most luminous, that radiate the most light. But those can run the risk of being precisely those narratives that, first of all, are not your own, and second of all, might not be suited to you, might be too ambitious, so to speak, for you. And your ego ideal might latch onto these because they're not your meanings, but they have the virtue of being meanings. And that is always going to be very attractive to the INFJ. But if it's not your own, it's not likely to work. You have to make it your own. And only narrativizing your life, even if it involves something that may look at first sight like a little bit performative, it's so useful. It's a really, really useful tool. You give external reality to the holism that inhabits your life, so that your life itself becomes the holism, and meaning follows from that. Okay? Give me a like if you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Don't forget I wrote 2 books on the INFJ, this beautiful type. The Ecstatic Soul, which is to this day still the deepest investigation of the INFJ mind. Check it out below. As well as the Infinite Soul on INFJ life in the modern world. How INFJs concretely in the world can find meaning, purpose, and value. Okay, check the links below in the description box. And don't forget, you can support me on Patreon. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. By becoming a patron, get access to cool perks like access to my Discord server, the Fourfold, as well as a bonus video every 2-3 weeks on a topic of your choosing. But perhaps most importantly, you make a huge difference to keeping this channel going. I need your help. Okay, see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.